Okay, I don't know what kind of beads we'd have to get to do this, but we could do soap on a rope and have it be the beads.
Yeah.
But also saponification will probably destroy a lot of things. So I
No,
don't
so what you
know.
do is when you're making the soap, just take one of those like boba straws and put it in the soap and then pour the soap over it so that when you're done, you just pull the straw out and you have a hollow hole and then you go ahead and thread the beads through. Boom.
Problem solving. So
Gotcha. This is what we do.
I love how ideas are born. I cut. Welcome back to Soap Dish. I'm Jazz. I'm from Rope Mafia Grooming Company.
And I'm Robin, and I'm from Nest Soapery. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to be the special guest, and Jazz is going to be
Special
interviewing
guest.
me. Yeah.
Yay. I'm going to be interviewing you today. This is new and I'm really excited. I wanted to do this like the second episode, but I'm really excited to do that today.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I've never actually asked you, and it's a burning question that I've always wondered. I don't know why I've never asked you. Where does Nest Soapery come from?
Are
Where
you
does
serious?
Yeah, we've never talked about it before. Isn't that crazy? How do
Yeah.
I know that?
Okay, so my name is Robin, and a
Oh
robin is
my,
a bird. It's okay. I've been asked this question more times than I thought I would, because apparently people don't put that together.
okay, that not only makes me think of you as even more precious than I did before, but also that I'm an idiot. All at the
You're
same
not,
time. I know I'm not. It's this like, why didn't that click? That's so cute and
because
fun.
everybody just thinks Robin is the name of a person, or like Batman and Robin, right? It's not necessarily the first thing that you come up with. And then I also don't use any birds or nests in my imagery, so it's not like
I know.
you would have connected it unless you were like really thinking about it.
I wasn't really thinking about it, Robin.
I forgive you.
Robin in a nest. It's so cute. All right. That just tickles me. Um okay, I do want to ask you, you try a lot of different pouring techniques.
Mm.
I love that about you so much. It's always something new. You're always curious and exploring and like, ooh, maybe I could put this and this together. I think that even if I didn't know you, what would come across is that you have a very curious nature,
Yeah.
which I love. And you're also willing to take risks. And that's scary for a lot of people to do. I mean, working with batter and it can thicken up on you, and that's
Oh,
like, oh,
absolutely.
yeah, you
I
so
think it's part of it is that I spent a good deal of my previous careers in the pastry world
Mhm.
where you work with things that are very similar to soap batter. And so I already had built up like a skill set of how I wanted to work with certain things, and then also a patience, and then also maybe like a little bit of grace, like understanding that not everything turns out well, and you're just gonna have to deal with it,
Yeah.
you know. But mostly, I am definitely the kind of person who's super duper curious. I want to be able to look at something and then be able to figure out in my mind how it's created, and then that helps me work backwards. So for example, like the nesting drop, we've talked about this before, but that design was in my brain and in my dreams for weeks until I made it happen. And so I had to know enough about how soap is poured to figure out how I could create that design.
Yeah.
Um, and most of the time, like I don't do a lot of the typical stuff, right? I
Yeah.
yes, I'll do a drop swirl every once in a while. I don't think I've maybe done one in the pot swirl, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I get bored with that too easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fun to do, and it's like it's very satisfying to just like go like this, watch it like fall under the surface. Like I love it for that, but the end result is not as satisfying as
Yeah.
doing that.
Well,
But
and something something about like if it only takes me 30 seconds to pour this into the mold, what a letdown, right?
Might as
Like,
well just sell everybody a bar of crap because it's worthless.
well, I mean, there's part of me that's like, if I just made in the pot swirl soaps, right? Or
Yeah.
like a plain colored soap, yeah, I could afford to charge a lot less, right? Because I'm not putting all this energy into it.
Hmm.
But I don't want to sell plain soap. You can go buy plain soap at Whole Foods
Yeah.
or at the grocery store or whatever. I want to sell soap that somebody put love into and like a lot of thought, care, and took time to put it together. I want you to be able to see what the process is in the videos that I post and be like, I have a connection to this soap. I know what it's going to smell like. I've seen it be made. I saw her slice it. That's the bar that I want. I hope I get it when it comes in the mail.
I
That.
definitely have had that experience watching other soap makers videos. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna get that one. I hope I get that one.
Right? Right? But then, like, the heartbreaking part about making soaps that have more intricate designs or that you've put a lot of effort into is that some people buy them and then they say, I'm never going to use this. And you're just like, ugh. Like, why did I even make this soap? It's made to be
Well,
used.
so that happens to so many soap makers, and I've had that myself too. Like some really extra intricate designs that I've done, I get that. Or if it's
Hmm,
a commemorative soap, like the 2020 dumpster fire soap, like I get that.
that's funny. Yeah.
Right. So um but yeah, I appreciate that they're keeping it and not using it. Not that that means something to me, but I can appreciate what that means for them, because it's like it makes them feel good to look at something they think is so beautiful that they never want it to go away, and they want to just continuously look at this piece of art that we made.
Hmm.
And so, like, yes, I've heard, and in the beginning, I myself was frustrated, but I've heard a lot of soap makers talk about that, how it's like, use the soap, but it's like, but this is almost even more special though.
But then there's also times that I've been at farmers markets and somebody has picked up a bar and then said, like, this is too pretty. I would never use it. And they put it down and they don't even buy it. And so
That's true.
sometimes I think that the prettiness factor can deter people from actually buying the soap because they're like, I would never use it.
That's fair. That's fair. I can see that.
Mhm.
So I think that just having regular bars of soap, while it's boring for us, could counteract that issue or offer something for people who are like that.
Yeah.
So, but
And
then it's a catch 22 then, because then we get bored with the basic bars of soap, you know?
well, so something that I've been playing around with and I think that I'm going to put into action this year is the idea of a capsule collection. So having 6 fragrances that will always be available in my shop. So I'll
Right.
just make like a ton of those bars so that hopefully I only have to make them 4 times a year or something.
Would
And
you
they'll
do it
always,
the same scent, but any color and design you want to do, or would it be the same
it'd be the
design?
same. And I would probably do it like
The way
super
you said
basic. Yeah.
we got to bring up how you said that. Your whole energy just like deflated. So, listen, we're just we got to keep it we got to keep it interesting for us, you know?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. And I'm never going to stop making all of the crazy soaps. That's never going to happen. But I understand, like, for example, Black Metal is one of my soaps. That's teakwood and
That's a
cardamom.
name.
Yeah. It's teakwood and cardamom. It's colored with activated charcoal, and then it has rose gold and 24 karat gold, like ribbons that go through it. Super
Mhm.
easy to make, right? I can make a giant slab of this thing. It's super popular. That thing sells out every single time I put it on to my website. So it doesn't have to be a crazy complex design. It can just be the same one that I've done before. But I understand the idea of like people want to be able to come back and order the same thing over and over and over again. Same design, same scent. I get it. It's not how I work, but sometimes you have to think about who your customer is and not like what you want.
That's true. We are trying to make a sustainable business here,
Hmm.
so you gotta have to gotta throw them a bone sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Um, okay, so what is your favorite pour or top three or top five? Because I can't ever choose just one favorite. I have to give a list.
For sure.
Too much pressure.
It's hard. Well, are we talking like pours I like to do or like to see?
Let's do two questions and you can answer both, but separately.
Okay. Um,
I should
I
have prepared you for this question.
no, it's fine. You're
A lot
fine.
of pressure, I know.
So I think I enjoy doing a one pot wonder quite a bit. Like when I
Yeah,
first discovered that one, it was really super early in my soaping. Discovered that and I was like, I'm gonna make everything like this. It's
yeah,
beautiful. You can incorporate so many colors and you get all these really cool lines. It looks super intricate, but really all I'm doing is pouring back and forth. How stinking cool is that?
yeah.
I also, believe it or not, really enjoy my nesting drop, probably just because it was something that I created and it becomes, I think mostly I enjoy it because when I cut it, every single slice looks different and it's always beautiful and I always love it. I love the high contrast in there. And of course you can do it without doing high contrast, but I choose not to because my brain likes that.
Mhm. I
Um,
love that design so much. As soon as
yeah,
I discovered the other day the my nesting drop that thickened up. It was the fragrance oil.
I
So
told you.
I know, I know. But here's the thing: apple sage from Brambleberry is known to not accelerate or discolor, and that's why I used it.
Mm,
It didn't squeeze up. By the time I mixed all of the rainbow colors and put them in the squeeze bottles, it was like pudding and like it didn't overblend. So anyway, I'm gonna try the rainbow soap again because your nesting drop is probably my favorite looking um, soap design.
thank you.
I'm not even just saying that though. Like my brain likes to see that so much. It's like visual ASMR. Totally was
Sure.
gonna. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Okay. I really want to know what is your process for coming up with a new design or color or scent? What is your mental process before you even like do one thing physically to plan a soap?
Yeah, absolutely. So the process for me always starts with fragrance because I have to order that first. And it usually takes like 2 weeks to arrive. So ordering the fragrance then gives me some time to figure out what I'm going to do with it if I use my time wisely. If I don't, I just get the fragrance and I smell it and I think about, oh, what do I want to do with this?
Yeah.
Most often, when I get a fragrance, I'll go online and I will search images related to that fragrance combination. Sometimes a body product will come up. Sometimes it's just like images of the things that make that fragrance. So, like, for example, I searched black coral and sea moss because I made a soap scented with that yesterday. And I had already made a soap with this scent in like April of last year. So I've worked with it before. I know it's nice and fluid, it plays well, but I didn't want to redo that design. So I wanted to create something new. So then I looked up, well, okay, what does sea moss look like? Turns out it's not green. It's like orangey yellow, and it looks like lots of little
Wow.
tendrils. Yeah. And then black coral is obviously black. So I was like, okay, I've got to incorporate these two different colors into this soap bar. So then sometimes I will even look up like black soap or yellow
Yeah.
soap or something like that, just to see like what kind of designs have people come up with. I
Mhm.
make a point of never directly copying anybody's soap because
Yeah.
that's not my thing, but I can be inspired by something.
Mhm.
So I actually have this here. This was the black coral and sea moss soap that I created yesterday. So it has like the cream color from just a natural color for the soap, and then the top is white and black, so titanium dioxide and the activated charcoal. And I don't know if I can get this to focus.
Ooh, nice. Look at
Yeah,
those
so it looks
little
really
ice
cool.
pearls.
And then it swirled on top too. Oh, you probably can't see it because of my face. Don't focus on me, camera. No,
Here,
it's
put
not
your
gonna work.
hand behind it, like the makeup
Oh
tutorial.
yeah, let me be like a booty guru.
Yeah,
Nope.
just well, it
Nope.
still sees your eyes though.
It's because I need to see it. Whatever,
I
it's done.
So how did you make that swirl pattern happen in there?
Right. So I poured this initial portion into the batter or into the mold, and it was at like light to medium trace because I didn't want this to sink in all the way when I'd poured it. Then this was a pitcher, a small jug, and I had the black activated charcoal already in it. And then I had another jug that was the titanium dioxide. I did an in the pot with those two, just kind of like dripped it all around that jug, and then poured it on the top and allowed it to kind of like go in a little bit. Let me show you another bar from this batch though, because some of them did kind of like teardrop in.
Love a teardrop look. Oh,
So then this is the one that kind of like teardrops in.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
you can see it.
That's so cool.
Come on,
It
come
really
on,
like
focus. Whatever, it doesn't want to. Anyway, so it looks like marbled, right?
it does.
Just on the top. And like my aesthetic is definitely simpler.
I
You know, like
was that was my next question. Robin?
we're on the same page, baby.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, like I like to do complex things. I really do. When I worked in pastry, my aesthetic was very much like, how can I make this minimalistic and complex at the same time? I like clean lines. I like things to feel calm to me. I don't want to look at something and feel like that's chaotic, and now I suddenly feel chaotic. Especially with something like soap, right? You're going potentially into the shower, which for me is a very relaxing time. I don't want to pick up a bar of soap and be like, ah! Like I don't know what I'm
Well,
doing.
I wonder if people do that for my soap. Some of my soaps. It's the Crystal Moon one is like a lot is going on.
Yeah,
But
totally. But
but
like
yeah, I wrote,
there's a customer base for both of those though.
yeah,
Like
of course. Yeah.
I'm the person who buys and makes calmer soaps. You might be the person who buys and makes things that energize you or to like get your gears going, you know? So,
Yeah.
or dazzles you.
Yeah, it just makes you feel fancy and special. And
Hmm.
I do want to grab your soap that I have here. This is Robin made this, and it's one of my favorite soaps I've ever seen. I think I showed it on my interview, maybe. No, I showed your other one. You were mad about it. Like, don't look at that. That's not a good line. I'm
That's
like,
ugly.
I disagree. But yeah, this one, when I first saw it, I was just, I'm still entranced by it. It's
It's
so,
well, it's very there's not a lot going on there, right? It's just black and white, and it's the pour that
yeah,
moves. It's the lines that make it dynamic, right? You
yeah,
don't you don't need a lot of swirling. You can just have these contour lines, and when I look at that, I think about like topographical map.
this
I think
corner
about
though,
yeah.
like this, and how it all connects together.
Hmm.
I love that part of it because it makes this look three-dimensional. Like if this was in front of me, this is probably what the side of it would look like. And so it just gives like
Well, it is
such a,
three-dimensional.
well, you know, okay, okay, edit that out.
No.
um, just, there's something about it that just like makes it's like physics. The physics of, the gravity with your motion of like, did you swirl it a little? It just did
No.
that by itself?
So what I did with this one is I tilted the mold and I poured just black for like the
What
first
kind of
half of
mold, by the way?
just like a 10-inch,
Just
42
regular.
ounce mold.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, like this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tilted it like that and then poured down the side, right? Just black for the first half of it.
Yeah.
And then the second half of it, what I had was, again, a pitcher of black, and then I had a pitcher of titanium dioxide, and I would pour the titanium dioxide in a line that led from the side of the spout to the handle.
Oh, so
That
this is
way,
like an off-center tiger swirl at
it's
an
like
angle?
an off-center one pot wonder, um, but I only pour until the white is gone, and then I have to reset the pour. And then
Okay.
sometimes, if you look at it, there's like a vein of blue going
I
through it.
know. I
Super
know.
subtle.
I love that so much. I noticed that right away. And it's just, it's a very subtle way to give it a little extra dimension. It's really a work of art, Robin. Like this pour, I think you've figured out something special. And
You
you know,
always say that though.
no, I
To me.
don't
You say
know.
that to me a lot.
No, no, I mean, I do. Look, you will quit being amazing as often as you are, you know. But honestly, I don't just blow smoke up people's ass. Like, I don't just like praise everything because that's what everybody does. And
Hmm.
for some reason, it just rubs me the wrong way when everybody's just always saying, but not, that sounds weird, but like everyone's always like good vibes only and positivity only. Like, I
But it's like
believe,
aggressive positivity. It's,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And what I'm doing is instead of that, it's more, I believe it's important to give somebody credit when credit's due. And I do that when I am truly dazzled by something. And I'm not dazzled by everything like a lot of people are. I'm kind of like, oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, good job. But when I
Hmm.
see like a particular thing that really like hits my brain a certain way, I'm like, oh my God. About it, and I just feel like people only say nice things about other people and to people at funerals and stuff. And I just wanted to change that.
That
So
culture.
yeah, I when I see something I like, I just want to like, you're amazing. So
Thank you.
anyway, you're welcome. You're welcome. Um, what do you feel makes Soapery unique?
That's hard because this is such a super saturated market.
Yeah, but there is something that sets you apart. What do
I
you think
think
it is?
so. I think when somebody comes to my account or watches my videos and they suddenly feel like compelled to follow me or compelled to purchase from me, I think it's the aesthetic
Yeah.
that is getting them. So, and that's something that I curate on purpose.
Hmm.
I want to be able to look at my feed and feel calm. I
Hmm.
don't, and in fact, right now, if you open up my feed right now, it feels way too chaotic for me. Like I need to now go through a patch of really, really, really calm photos because otherwise it'll start to frazzle my brain a little bit. But I think
Yeah.
that, we live now in 2022. Good Lord, I can't believe it's 2022. The last 2 years has just been like constant trauma, you know? And so I feel like what I bring to the table is a sense of calm and minimalism, but also taking care of yourself because that's what it is. If you're buying soap, regardless of if you're washing your hands at the sink or at the bathroom sink or the kitchen sink, or in the shower or gifting it to someone else, it is a gift of self care and a gift of love, right? Unless they're just putting it on their shelf to look. But I guess then still, it's like,
Then it's a gift in a different way, you
sure.
know?
Um, but I do think that that's what sets me apart is this just like minimalist
Yeah.
look. It's light, it's airy, it's calm, it's peaceful. And that brings me back to one of my, I had like 3 careers before I was a soap maker.
What were
So
they?
first, I went to art school, and immediately after art school, I went to pastry school and I worked as a pastry chef for years. Started working at Walt Disney World and then wound up moving to Boulder, Colorado, where I worked at a resort there. Yeah.
Back up.
What?
Wait, no, put a pin in that. Keep going. I'm coming
Okay,
back to Disney World. Keep going.
gotcha. So first I was in pastry, and if I'm completely honest about that, I was 100% burnt out and not in a good place when I finished with that. Working in the resort that I worked at in Boulder, I was working 16-hour days. I was working 6 to 7 days a week. If I had a day off, they would call me often to come in on that seventh day because I was the singular pastry chef for all of their outlets.
What?
Yeah. And then, so they had like a couple of restaurant outlets too. So I would prep all of their garnishes, all of the desserts, anything that they would need. But people, oh gosh, the monkeys that ran the line would like drop stuff. And then they would call me and be like, Robin, you need to come and make 60 cheesecakes because they dropped an entire pan of cheesecakes. And I'm just like, great. And it was not a very good environment. The food industry in general for women is not good. There was a lot of harassment. You're not treated well. You're not paid as much. It's just bad. So anyway, first pastry. When I got finished with that, it was before I had my first kiddo, and I was certain that I was not going to be able to get pregnant because my husband and I were trying for years and years and years. So I
Mhm.
went through fertility treatments and everything. Nothing seemed to work. Obviously, I didn't get pregnant from any of them. 1 month after my final fertility treatment that failed, I wound up pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was like, as soon as I just gave up on being pregnant, my body was like, we're ready. Let's do this now.
Isn't
So
that
that,
always the way? Haven't you heard,
hmm
like, telling that story to women? I'm sure you've heard, that's what happened to me a
hmm
lot.
yeah,
That's what happened to me. Literally a
yeah,
month after we stopped trying, I got pregnant. Wasn't
yeah.
even trying. What? It's like, I don't know. It's like it's like jump starting your body or something. The thinking about it, wanting, it's like initializing some kind of, I don't know,
Process.
biological program of reproduction.
Yes. But also, I think that as women, we put a lot of stress on ourselves to
Yes,
become mothers. A lot of us do. It's not universal, but many of us feel like maybe our worth is tied up in our ability to be a mother.
yeah.
And I kind of felt that way at the time. So I put so much pressure on myself. We were trying like every other day, and it was not fun by the time you get to
Tell me
the end
about
because
it,
no,
Robin.
it wasn't fun because it was
No.
like, this is scheduled. We need to do this. If we want to have a baby, this is what we have to do. And it was miserable. And I
Yeah, like
remember,
basal body temperatures and stuff.
yep, checking
Gross.
your cervical mucus. That's fun. I'm very familiar with my cervix. It's true. But I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
Also, so after I got pregnant, then I started training as a doula. So do you know what a doula is?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who don't know what a doula is, it's a birth assistant. It's not a midwife. We don't perform medical procedures. We are there to offer emotional, physical, and informational support throughout pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum. So I knew from my training, I knew from working as a doula for years in Colorado that my calling was to help people, to spread that love, to be the peace and the calm in the room when it feels like you're about to explode. And then there's a person in the room who looks at you and is like, you're doing great. I know this is hard, but you are killing it. Like you are doing exactly what your body needs you to do, right?
I
So like,
needed you. I needed you for the birth of my son so
yeah,
bad.
I'm sorry.
I would have loved to have somebody like you there. I feel like I would love to be a doula also, with no pressure of medical
Yeah.
attention. Just like
Well, there's
love.
still pressure. You can't like say to somebody, "Oh, you're gonna be fine," and then they're not. There's like you can be sued. You need insurance. You need to make sure that you're taking care. But like when you have clients like that, you lay it down ahead of time. Like, this is what I'm
Mhm,
able to offer you.
mhm.
At one point, I may say to you, I'm not able to do that because it's out of my scope and I'm only licensed to do these specific things. But then you go through it ahead of time with them, and then you practice things ahead of time, and you really talk through everything so that they know exactly what you're going to be able to offer.
Mhm.
Anyway, where did I start talking about career?
Because it's a show about you. And we're getting to know you, and this is part of it, and I love
That's
it. I'm
true.
here for it. You can edit any of it out if you feel
I
like it.
will.
Okay.
I think
Um,
I think I was trying to bring up that like I know that I'm meant to be in a caring like service
yeah.
field. And that's where I'm going with my schooling is now I'm going to be looking towards lactation consultant. and being able to help people when they're going through the postpartum period. I don't know about you, I had big struggles with breastfeeding, and most women do have issues with breastfeeding. And when you need somebody, because if you don't get somebody and your milk dries up, that's the end of it. No more breastfeeding. You're a formula feeding mama, which there's like nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, both of my kids were formula fed because I simply could not breastfeed. But I feel like if I had had somebody, a lactation consultant that I could have called immediately, and she could have looked at my latch, or she could have been like, oh, look, let's do a feeding and I'll weigh before and after, or whatever, I could have gotten to the bottom of it a whole lot faster and just realized even quicker, okay, it's not what you're doing, it's just your body. Just feed your baby however you can. Keep your kid alive. That's more important than being able to give it to him through the breast. So, anyway,
I love that. I love
that.
that. What's interesting to me about you is that I don't know if you are aware of this or even if I'm right, but it feels like since I've met you, I've noticed that you do things to heal your own wounds by helping others in the
Yeah.
way that you needed support, in the way you needed love, and what you need currently to feel comfort. You provide that to others very
Mhm.
intentionally and consistently, not only like day to day, but consistently across all of the things you do. And I was going to add to circle back to that question about what sets you apart. And you said you like to create that calm aesthetic that's visual. Yes, you do. You do that. But that's just the hook. You have to get the visual hook to get anybody's attention. It's how our brains work, right?
Yeah.
And you have
Mhm.
that. But I think that a secondary and more um can't think of the word that I want,
Prominent,
but more, yeah, more
influential.
more important, more hearty, more meaningful thing that comes across that I'm not sure if you know that comes across, but your your wording, it's like we're already friends. Like before I
Mm.
actually became friends with you, I would kind of feel like, oh, she's nice. She feels like she's my friend. And she's always there and she's always just really kind and friendly, and it just, you just have that energy about you consistently. And I've learned in my years that that energy comes from great trauma. And i I don't know, I appreciate what you put out into the world with soap making, but also just as a human. It's really rare, but most people I know that do that, they have a long history of things not going well, and they just decided to reclaim their space and stop that trend and create a new
Mhm.
cycle that is healthy and nourishing for you but also others. That's badass.
You have no idea how true everything you just said is.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and that's just what I've always felt from you. And so thank you for being you and putting yourself out into the world, because I think that people need to see that, and it comes across even on social media.
Thank you. It's
And
it's hard for me to hear that, to be honest.
I'm sure it's hard for me to hear stuff that's good about me, but I think it's important that we hear that from people who are being honest with us. So it's true because I wouldn't make it up.
It's definitely interesting to hear that. You know, we all live within our own brains. I don't know how I sound from the outside. I'm not able to like visually observe myself from the outside. I can say that I do intentionally put out like friendly vibes. I do not want to alienate anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone. Because as you said, I mean, I do have a traumatic background. I have a lot of pain in my past. And I'm just tired of that. Like what, we might live here, what, 80, 90 years, right? What a stinky life must be. How awful must that life be if you're spending so much energy being negative and hurtful to everyone? I'm going to spend my energy trying to make other people happy. and protecting myself and making sure that I'm not just pleasing everyone.
That's
You know,
important.
there's a balance that needs to be struck, and it's difficult, but
It's important.
you know, it's super important for me to always be altruistic and kind and helpful until either I can't anymore or you have proven to me that you're not worth it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it does.
Yeah.
It does. I agree. I agree completely. Um, should we awkwardly transition into quickfire?
Yes.
Let's just shake it up a little bit. I love that about that. Such a good idea, that
Yeah.
quickfire. So smart. All right. What is your fragrance supplier?
Nature's Garden.
Nature's Garden. Do you buy all of your stuff there no matter what? Or is that just
No,
your
that's my go-to. If I were to choose just one, it would be Nature's Garden. I also really like Candle Science. And to be completely honest, I have fallen in love with all of the fragrances that I got from Island Escape Fragrances.
really?
Yeah, they're really good. They
Awesome.
smell so good. They're, if you check them out, all of their well, not all of them, but the ones that struck me the most were very like earthy and herbal and natural feeling. And then some of them they even modeled after like traditional spells. So they'll be like, this is the,
Traditional smells.
yeah. So it's really neat. You'll see like they have all these different hints of things that should bring you luck or should be, I don't know how to describe it. You have to just go to their website. It's really
That's
cool.
cool. We'll
Yeah.
put it in the link below.
Yep. We'll do it.
Okay. What is your favorite supplier for oils?
Okay. I don't buy any of my oils online ever because it costs too much to get them shipped.
Yes.
So coconut oil is big lot. Canola, and no joke, my trunk has 10 buckets, 10. I don't have a problem. It's not a problem.
Problem. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Continue.
Right, right. But seriously, after you told me that they were having a sale, I went and ordered it. When I got to Big Lots and the lady was bringing it out to my car, as she walks up to my car, she's like, "All right, we have a bet we need to settle. You need to tell me why somebody in their right mind would need 10 gallons of coconut oil."
Wait, did they have guesses? Did they bet on what the guesses?
Yeah, they were like, maybe they fry in this oil. Maybe they're like a donut maker. Maybe they really like, maybe they're going to give everybody coconut oil. Maybe they're stocking up for like an entire year. And so I told her it's for soap and she goes, "It's for what?" And I said, "Soap. You can make soap with coconut oil." And I don't go into the details of describing exactly how soap is made because like any random person on the street doesn't care that if you add sodium hydroxide to oils that it becomes soap.
Right.
So I'm just like, yeah, it's an ingredient in soap. I'm a soap maker. So this will get me through a couple of months. And she's like, "A couple of months?" And I was like, eh.
All right.
Okay, so then canola and olive oil and
Yep.
grapeseed oil, I will pick up wherever it's cheapest, my local grocery store, or Walmart or something like that, just
Okay.
depending on what I need, where I can get it organic, where I can get it for cheaper, whatever it is. If I have a coupon for one store, because you know you got to be thrifty when you're opening or when you're running a business.
Okay,
So I
but
keep
what
an eye on
about
that.
shea butter? Do you have shea
Oh,
butter in your?
yeah, yeah. Okay, so the shea butter I'm using right now came from Natural Bulk Supplies,
Okay.
which is the one that Abra mentioned. And it's great. I mean, it smells a little funky, but that's shea butter,
Yeah. Do you use the refined or unrefined?
unrefined.
Ah. Does that come
Mhm.
through in your soap? I heard that it does a little bit. No?
Nope,
Because I accidentally bought 10 pounds of unrefined and I'm like, I don't want it to throw off my scent.
it
But it
won't.
doesn't. Perfect.
And
That's butter to not use.
I use 10% shea butter in my soaps. So a good amount, you know, and while you're making it, yeah, you can smell the shea butter, but then once you've added the fragrance and once it's saponified, it's not there.
Interesting. I'll have to try that out because I can't use that in my regular Bath and Body products because it does come through.
Hmm.
Good to know. Okay. Um, what is your favorite colorant supplier?
Mad Micas.
Mad Micah's. Do you buy, like, what size do you normally buy?
An ounce, like the ounce jar. But I'm working my way up slowly. Started off with the sample packs, right? And then
Yep.
worked at like quarter ounce. Now I'm at ounce. So
Yep.
I'm
I'm
sure,
at
you know,
ounce too.
give me a couple more months and I'll be doing like the 4 ounce jars,
I wish they had a transitional, like
two
how
ounce.
Wholesale Supplies Plus, their smallest is 2 ounces or a sample. And that's a pretty big commitment. 1 ounce feels less of a commitment, but it's like, I kind of, I'm going to love all of Mad Micah's colors. So I just wish they had a 2 ounce because that's what I would buy right now.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't even remember this question before, but it's on the list. So we're going to go with it. What's your favorite mold to use?
I mean, I typically just will use the 42-ounce mold. It gives me 10 bars. If I want to make more, I'll just do two of them. And this is simply because I'm a fairly new soap maker. I've been doing it for less than a year, as a business. So I've got a whole bunch of those, and there's no reason for me to stop using them. So I'm not going to until I absolutely have to. They are starting to crack, from like washing and things like that. But that's probably my go-to is the 10-ounce one or the 10-inch.
Okay. Glitter or no glitter?
No glitter.
Uh, top swirl or top texture?
Oh, it's hard.
Swirl or top texture?
I know what
Or
you mean.
gem or botanicals. We should add that on there. Okay, top swirl, top texture, or like decorative items.
Mm, that's hard. So I'm gonna go texture.
Really?
Hmm.
I'm minimalistic. That.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know.
okay. High top or low top?
Low top.
You said that was such just.
Okay, listen.
Is
So
there a story there? God, you're so mad about it.
I bought a high top bar of soap from a soap maker.
Yeah.
Beautiful soap, wonderful soap, felt great. Washing with it was like putting a brick on my body.
It's so big.
They're so big, it's unwieldy. How am I supposed to wash my body and be comfortable? So, like, I want it to fit in my palm. I don't want it to fit in my palm and then fall out of my palm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
know
So,
all of yours are high tops. I get it. I know.
well, actually, you're gonna be so surprised. I have so many low tops. They're just gonna be squares like that.
Yeah,
The Care Bear stare is square. The
I
Care
got you.
Bear stare is square. And then the rose white, that one is square. I just was like in a really low top vibe. I might mound some up in my
Yeah.
coming designs, but I don't really want to pipe right now. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay. What show are you binge watching right now?
Right now,
Right
search
now.
party.
What is it?
Search party
Okay. What is that on? What's it
on
about?
on HBO. And there's like 4 seasons now, maybe 3 seasons.
Mhm.
I'm only like 5 episodes into the first season, so I don't know entirely what it's about. But from what I understand, somebody goes missing, and one of her college friends, who's the main character, suddenly becomes obsessed with the idea that this person is missing. And why doesn't everybody care more? Why isn't everybody trying to find her? People are like, nah, she's just dead. It's no big deal. Her other college friends really don't care at all. They're just
Mhm.
kind of like, we'll go to the vigil, whatever. Like, we'll entertain you because you want to know more about this person who's missing, but we don't really care. Everybody's awful, basically, except for the main character. The reason why I started watching it was because I think that there's so much more going on that I'm not catching right now. So
Like
right
they
now,
haven't let on yet that it'll make sense later or something.
right, because I've seen like previews of the main character with her head shaved and she's in some sort of like it looks like a mental institution or something. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're building towards something completely different, probably.
Right. And watching it is a strange experience because literally everybody except the main character is just a bad person. So as I'm watching it, I feel kind of uncomfortable, like, oh man, you all are terrible. She should probably get you out of her life. But then I'm also laughing at how bad they are. So
Yeah.
it makes, I don't know. But I can't stop watching it. So
All right. Well, don't. Okay, so do you happen to have your first soap with you or one of your first soaps, early days?
Yeah, totally. So this one, um, really, really basic bar. This was my first soap that I made. It's
The first,
scented.
oh,
Yeah, the first one. So you can see it's like wonky, right? Because I cut it by hand on a cutting board with like the waffle cutter, and it's colored with rose clay. And I used a scent from Nature's Garden called Down Home Cabin, and it smells like cedar and clove, and it's so strong. It's like I've had this for over a year. I'm never going to use it because it's my first ugly soap. It seized up so fast when I put the
really?
fragrance oil. Yeah, put the fragrance oil in it. The whole not seized up, but it like thickened up really, really quickly. So I had to just like get it into the mold. And I was using the royalty soaps, like the OG beginner royalty soaps recipe. So literally just 20% coconut oil, 80% olive oil. It should not have accelerated. You know what I mean? Like it should not have gotten that thick, but it did. Anyway, we loved that
So
one. My
how long
husband,
ago was that?
this was December 27th of 2020. So over a year ago.
Okay.
And it still smells great. And in fact, I just ordered another batch of this fragrance, and I'm going to remake that soap in my new style for March as part of like a collection that I'm putting together of all of my best sellers or like favorite soaps from 2021. Yeah, it's going to be great. And then this week I've been putting together just like a ton of soaps to prepare for the semester. So
You've
for
been
anyone who doesn't,
busy.
yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a full-time student in nursing school. I'm also a mom, obviously a soap maker. And so I have a lot on my plate. This next 2 weeks, however, so like the rest of this week and all of next week, I'm off. My semester doesn't start until the 18th. So I'm making like 4 or 5 batches of soap a day. So one of
Oh,
them that I made this last like 2 days ago was this one. So I'm
I've been
calling,
trying to deconstruct in my brain how you did that horizontally and not vertically with dividers.
oh, you didn't see the video?
No.
Okay, so
I saw a cutting video and you were cutting it that way and I was like, "Oh my God, that was a loaf that like wait."
I, if you go check out my reels or my YouTube channel, you can find the full pour.
Okay.
And this one is really special to me because my husband is a teacher, and you know, as a teacher, your students will just come in and give you gifts every once in a while. Sometimes it's because it's winter time, or sometimes it's teachers appreciation week or something like that. But this particular student, their family had just bought a farm, and they like a year ago, and they had beehives on the farm, and so this was the first harvest of honey. He brought in this like tiny little honey jar, must have been like 2 or 3 ounces, not very much at all. And my husband brings it home and he's like, look, they gave me honey from their beehives. So I swiped that and I was like, I'm gonna put it in soap. And but the point is,
That's
like, I'm
not
gonna
for you.
no, it's fine. It's totally cool. But the point was like to make the bars of soap and then gift those back to the family to say like thank you for that honey.
You're so
Because oh, stop it.
Robin, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and your stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, you can find me nest.soapery. I post daily. I usually post like a reel either every day or 4 or 5 times a week. And almost always it's like process videos, which are really interesting to me. You can get my soaps at nestsoapery.com. You can also find me on YouTube now. So it's just Nest Soapery on YouTube. And I'm on TikTok as well. But to be completely honest, the videos on TikTok are just the same as the videos that are on Instagram, just for a different platform. So if you follow me on one, you're not going to miss anything on the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can find me on Instagram. It's rogue.mafia.grooming.co for company and Rogue Mafia Grooming Company on Facebook. I'm also on TikTok. I think it's just Rogue Mafia Grooming, but maybe CO at the end. I can't really
Just start
remember.
searching it, you'll find it.
Sure. And then
Yeah.
roguemafiagrooming.com for all of the products. But we also have YouTube channel that we're starting up for Soap Dish to put all of our videos on, as well as we're going to be doing some lives with TikTok from time to time, just to be our weird, normal selves, not
Yeah.
necessarily specifically about soap.
Right. So if you're watching this live right now on Instagram and you want to just go watch us chat, like totally off the books, nothing professional whatsoever, hop on to,
Well,
eh,
it's gonna come out. We're
yeah,
obsessed with soap. It'll
that's
happen.
true. We might curse though.
We're
We might,
100% going to curse.
yeah,
I
100.
am. Yep. It's
Yep.
where I can just be myself. TikTok feels safer to just willy-nilly say whatever I want.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting.
Yep. So we're going to head on over there and we're going to do a TikTok live. And so if you have any questions that you want to ask me or Jazz, feel free to join us on over there and we'd be happy to address anything.
Mhm. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, I was able to dust off my scheduling book and fit you in, and I'm just so glad I was able to. But now I've got to get back to my busy soaping schedule.
Same. Gotta finish 5 soaps today. All right. Well, until next time, thanks for joining us on Soap Dish.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.